Normally, I am not one to go on the Bluebird, that's what I call this giant social media platform that everybody gets to make an account and post their opinions on. But as I was scampering around just for a teeny tiny bit, I ended up noticing this unique tweet from the number one producer I look up to. And this got me to a curiosity that I wanted to investigate myself. Hello viewers and listeners, I am Brawlerz, and it's been quite a while since I have actually made a video and to place it on my channel. Just a short reference, I ended up deleting 2 of the videos that I went on a rambling about YouTube. But as of this case, we're going to be moving on to something within the music universe. What I'm going to be saying for this video in particular is of the platform none other than SoundCloud itself, because of this tweet that I mentioned right at the beginning of the video. And feel free to read out the tweet that Ducky ended up giving out to her audience and whoever wanted to see this message. And it was a really interesting thought of process as I decided to take a little bit of what she said, and I told myself I'm going to do some investigating. So that's what I did. Still a few articles that I am going around within the internet, and it is quite a surprise of what this platform had the potential of within its up and coming throughout the years. So if anyone does not know what SoundCloud is, I'll give you a little brief breakdown. Imagine YouTube minus the videos. That's what SoundCloud is. It's really an audio and music sharing platform that anybody can put out their original content. If they make remixes, they're able to do that in the past, but I will mention about the remixes later on in the video. Not to mention, they are able to get feedback from the audience. Something that really got to me was mentioning that I miss the old days of SoundCloud. That got me entitled because from my perspective, as someone who has created content within the YouTube universe, I do remember the old times of YouTube. I'll jump into YouTube during the end of the video. The second post that she mentions as of the following, that there isn't really anywhere dope to post stuff that the producer doesn't want to pursue a label or do a proper self-release. And kind of unfortunate that if such the case was the opposite, Ducky would have been releasing a lot of unreleased stuff, which I am very, very interested in hearing. And a shout out to Just Jur. He ended up jumping into the conversation, and he mentions that it really pushed sounds and genres forward. That I would do agree with 100%, because SoundCloud, even though the electronic dance music became the bare backbone of the platform, there are other areas within the music industry like underground rap, indie music, and so on and so forth that helped SoundCloud become to what it is, or what people used to say it used to be good back in the days. From my understanding, he even mentions that people try to do what they see getting on playlist and DJ supports, so it's a lot less innovation. That really puts me up into question when I read these 3 comments and deciding to dig around with what actually happened to SoundCloud. Granted, I am just an extreme newbie to SoundCloud itself, but this was to be some type of stepping platform for producers and artists that really wanted to make their name be known within the music industry. And the best part, you were able to do it in the comfort of your home. No need to have an entire team to back you up. No need to be under a record label, especially when the music industry was pretty notorious back in the days. So here is an article from The Verge that I will be posting up within the video. And it just mentions of how SoundCloud's broken business models drove artists away. Just a little brief summary of what I ended up reading, where people could repost infinitely with their work, and if the audience or if someone wasn't catching what they were doing, they could be in a little bit of a predicament. Now jumping into a little bit more of a complex topic with this logo. I'm sure practically everyone has seen this logo at least once in their lifetime if you are one that listens within the music industry on a day-to-day basis. For Spotify that jumped into the scene, it took SoundCloud quite a bit of time to get itself organized to come in with the competition of what Spotify had to offer with the individuals that were pursuing a music career. Within the website article itself, and I'm going to be quoting, Within 2012, Spotify introduced an embedded player that could be added to blogs or the social media platforms, allowing users to play music without leaving the page itself. That is a huge bonus that from the SoundCloud old days, from what I have heard, it seemed it didn't really do itself justification to those users that were really using the platform. Jumping into YouTube for a little bit, I am getting on a sidetrack. Back in the days when YouTube started to get its up and rising with the music scene, you were able to completely leave the platform if you were on a mobile device and you were able to hear music on the fly. Just simply put in the music video or whatever song you found on YouTube, just turn off the cell phone, iPod, whatever the case you were using, and you can go on your merry way. But that all changed within the mid 2010s, and kind of a bummer that YouTube decided to go within the direction of YouTube Red. But adding on to the Spotify situation itself, it also offered labels the business model that they need if they were going to be up and coming, which included fully licensed tracks in exchange for guaranteed royalties. Yeah, with Spotify having its own little battles within the labels, the structure of how they manifested the platform itself was proving to be more beneficial than SoundCloud. But by 2014, SoundCloud had to really make some cracking deals with their first label deal, which became Warner. Then it took them an additional 2 years later to get Sony, Universal, and Maryland on board. But then they decided to go with SoundCloud Go and Go Plus, which now leads to the two platforms doing this unique trade that is extremely similar. If you're going under a free account, you're able to hear the music, but you will also hear advertisements play because the platforms do need money at the end of the day to survive. But if you're going to be paying for like a premium edition, you will be able to sacrifice a little bit of money to take out the ads. Not only are you helping out the platform with your money, but you're also helping out the artist as well. Also with some benefits of skipping songs unlimited times. Here is a passage from the article that really stood out to me, and I will mention a producer in a moment as I summarize this little area. With SoundCloud, the platform itself, a huge side effect that it took kind of a blow to itself, the discouraged of the remix culture that originally helped the site thrive. So from this point in matter, a lot of people decided to make remixes of an original track. There's nothing wrong with that. There are things called bootlegs, remixes, and edits. You wanted to make a remix that got you a good idea from the original track, by all means. If you have the creativity for it, and if you know how to organize with how you are addressing to the producer, the original creator of the song, and if you work out a deal with them, it could be official, it could stay hidden, it could be something that is extremely exclusive that only certain people have a hold of. That is completely fine. But within that part of the SoundCloud era, a lot of people unfortunately were getting strikes and getting suspended because they would have a certain remix on their platform. This was the case when a producer by the name of Son Holo admitted that he decided to make a remix of the next episode from the creators of Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. His remix for the next episode is just amazing. I strongly recommend you give it a listen if you haven't heard of the song or haven't heard of Son Holo. His style is extremely unique. But within an interview that he was doing a podcast, he admitted that he had so many streams with the remix song, and he did the unfortunate choice with deleting the remix to keep his platform safe. He also mentioned that there were other platforms, other people that he personally knew of doing their own remixes or maybe taking his remix and putting it to another account. Unfortunately, their accounts got completely terminated in the blink of an eye. Sounds like another platform that can do that within the blink of an eye, if I may put YouTube on the spotlight right now. But grudges aside from this giant platform and getting back to SoundCloud, by the successful profits with SoundCloud, it unfortunately became to the favor of the alpha dogs and the biggest stars that were up and coming with SoundCloud. Kill the Noise actually mentions this. Their changes were hard on people that were in the middle and they were hard on people that were at the bottom. And I am going back to YouTube one more time at this point. It does sound extremely similar to how there is a certain individual that wants to start a YouTube channel. They start making their original content, and if they do just one slip up, or even if they use a song for even less than 5 seconds, YouTube will automatically flag their videos to notify them that they cannot do that and their videos cannot be monetized, to the points where sometimes, and this has happened on countless occasions, the video will get a strike. For those that do not know, with the YouTube system, if you get 3 strikes, your channel gets completely terminated. No matter how many videos you've posted, no matter how much time and effort you have placed within your channel, if you break the rules, YouTube will swipe it out in an instant. Well, I would like to add one more quote that Kill the Noise ended up mentioning with SoundCloud, and he says, there wasn't any forethought into how it would affect the community with all this stepping stone, with SoundCloud as being what it is and not the end goal. Lastly, Alice in Wonderland jumps on in, agreeing with him and saying that SoundCloud gave the artist power and reach, then took it back. And yes, I have realized that I am just kind of reading off with the article itself, but I would like to come into the understanding with how SoundCloud was back in the days. From a standpoint, I would not understand because I hardly use the platform at all, but I could kind of give a little bit of an insight with what YouTube used to be like back in the days. Back when it started within the late 2000s with cat videos, with baby videos, all up and coming to what we have nowadays, that people are literally making videos about memes. So from the old days of YouTube, there were hardly any rules. YouTube wasn't that big of a deal until it started to reach around 2010, 2011, especially with the content creator of PewDiePie. It was post a video on your platform, and if people liked it, they would give a comment. Sometimes you would get the trolls, sometimes you would get the haters. And if you see yourself growing an audience, you would keep on going and going and going until it started to become a business model within the early 2010s. But by the time 2015, 2016 hit, we faced the giant apocalypse for so many creators. Even the alpha dogs themselves were very, very nervous of what they can and cannot post. Not to mention when it came to the music industry, that as of this moment, the music is almost taking up half of YouTube's content, which says a lot for the platform itself. If a content creator ended up utilizing a certain song, even if it was for 5 seconds or less at times, you would get flagged to the points, as I mentioned earlier in the video, you would get striked. And this was extremely unfair, that to this day there are still hundreds of channels that have been demonetized, that have been manually claimed, that are being under the abusive anchor system, and at times even so many creators just leaving the platform in general, saying that there is no hope to create this YouTube career dream that they always envisioned because of how much hard work they would do, and to have a blind system just swipe it out in the blink of an eye. That about wraps up with my rambling with SoundCloud. The main thing I would like to know is, if anyone has been a producer in the past for SoundCloud, what was it like for back in the days from your personal opinion? Maybe I won't get any single comments from this video, but I would like to reach out to the audience to know, what was it like? How were the rules completely different when SoundCloud was just starting its own platform up to the 5-year mark, and then from the 5-year mark up to now? How big has it changed? How are people surviving with this platform, etc., etc.? So that concludes with my SoundCloud rambling. If anyone has made it to the end of the video, thank you for hearing me out. And if you guys want to keep on at it with my channel, it really does mean a lot to me. And I thank you guys for giving this video a chance. Lastly, rave on, stay safe, and keep on listening.